Hi, everybody. I'm Pierre Bouvard, Chief Insights Officer here at the Audioactive Group at Cumulus Media and Westwood One. Well, when it comes to purchasing a new vehicle, only 5% of Americans will be in market in the coming year. This, according to Shannon Reed, who is the Global Chief Media Officer for General Motors. So, if you're an automaker and you're trying to reach those future auto buyers, the other 95%, how can you reach those folks when they're in their car actually thinking about their current vehicle? So, how can General Motors reach those future buyers? Well, look no further than AM/FM radio. It's the medium that GM drivers listen to the most. The brand loyalty of General Motors, according to S&P, is an astonishing 68%, meaning that nearly 7 out of 10 current GM customers will buy the brand again when they come back in market. So it's crucial for General Motors Tier 1, Tier 2, and dealer media plans to be able to reach current General Motors drivers. And how do you do that? Well, you use AM/FM radio. Because in the car, among GM drivers, AM/FM radio has an astonishing 90 share, 90, a 90 share of ad-supported in-car audio. Now, if you zoom out to all locations, among GM drivers, 71% of all their audio time spent that's ad-supported goes to AM/FM radio. And to conquest drivers of competitive brands, look no further than AM/FM radio, because in the car, AM/FM has an 83 share of in-car ad-supported audio. A recent 2026 Simmons MRI analysis of auto intenders among heavy media users revealed that AM/FM radio leads most media across a wide array of auto intention vehicle types. Now, the source of our data on audio time spent comes from Edison's Share of Ear. It is the gold standard American audio time use study. It's conducted annually among 4,000 consumers. 1,000 consumers are surveyed each quarter, and the study represents a one-year rolling average. So this Q1 2026 report is based upon data from Q2, 2025, Q3, Q4, and Q1 2026. Edison is a leading provider of AM/FM and audio insights. Their well-known Infinite Dial study has been running for over 25 years and is the gold standard in all audio time use data. So the recent 30th anniversary S&P Mobility Automotive Loyalty Awards, General Motors racked up impressive showing with a 68% vehicle loyalty, meaning 7 out of 10 current GM owners will buy the brand again when they come in market. The Chevrolet Equinox actually captured the top model loyalty honor in the recent S&P loyalty studies. Now, in the car, General Motors drivers are listening to AM/FM radio. How much? A ton. In fact, among General Motors drivers in the car, AM/FM radio has a 90 share, a 90 share of all in-car ad-supported audio time spent. Other ad-supported audio sources in the car notch in the low or single digits, things like SiriusXM, Podcast, Pandora, Spotify, or YouTube. And if we examine what General Motors drivers are listening to in all locations, which would be home, car, work, or some other place, General Motors drivers spend 71% of all ad-supported audio time spent in all locations to AM/FM radio. At a distant number 2 is podcasts at a 13 share, and then streaming are in the mid to single digits. Now, if General Motors seeks to conquest from other brands, how can GM reach drivers of competitive brands while their drivers are listening in car? Well, again, AM/FM radio comes to the rescue with an amazing 83 share of all U.S. in-car ad-supported audio time spent. Next is podcasts at a 7% in-car share. And then the streaming services and SiriusXM are in the low single digits. Now, if we take a look at listening in all locations among all audio listeners to ad-supported content, if GM wants to conquest competitive brand drivers, AM/FM again rises to the top, garnering a 64 share of all in-car ad-supported audio time spent in the US. 1 out of 5 tuning minutes go to podcasts with a 21 share. And then the audio streaming services are in the mid to single digits. MRI Simmons conducted an analysis examining 6 major media segments, and they looked at a series of auto intention segments. They looked at folks that said they are very likely in the next 12 months to buy a new vehicle, to buy used or pre-owned, to buy a new four-door, new minivan, SUV, truck, or hybrid. And this is the highest intention, so it's the very likely consumers. And then down the left are the 6 audience segments of heavy social media consumers, heavy radio listeners, heavy internet users, TV, CTV, and then heavy outdoor advertising consumers. So that is the grid. In the middle will be an index, and the index will examine whether the media segment is more likely or less likely than the US average to be in market for the particular segment. An index of 100 means a media segment is just like America. Any number over 100 means that that segment is more likely than average to be in market for that vehicle type. And then a number below 100 means that that media segment is less likely than the US average to be in the market for that vehicle segment. So let's take a look. For a new vehicle overall, it is the heavy social media consumer that is 15% more likely to purchase a new vehicle. Number 2 is radio, tied with heavy internet users. And then as you look across the page, AM/FM radio is right there with social media when it comes to buying a new four-door, buying a used or pre-owned vehicle. When it comes to a minivan, AM/FM radio is actually number 2 among heavy internet users. And AM/FM is number 1 in intention to buy an SUV, intention to buy a truck, or intention to buy a hybrid or electric vehicle. So this is surprising that the heavy radio listeners are above average for every single automotive segment and actually beats most other media in being in market. Now, heavy TV viewers are actually at average or below average, which is surprising given how much money is spent on linear TV. CTV is actually below average, just under in most cases, as is outdoor. So the key findings here: General Motors has a astonishing 68% loyalty, which means a key segment for them is reaching current drivers, because that represents their future customers. The ideal way to reach General Motors drivers is with AM/FM radio. In the car, General Motors drivers devote 90% of all their tuning minutes to AM/FM radio, and that's of ad-supported tuning minutes, things that you can actually buy an ad in. When you zoom out to all locations, General Motors drivers devote 71% of all ad-supported audio time spent to AM/FM radio. And if GM wants to conquest and reach drivers of competitive brands, look no further than AM/FM radio, which generates an 83 share of all American in-car ad-supported audio. And the recent MRI Simmons analysis of a whole variety of auto intention segments reveals that AM/FM radio is over-indexed in all purchase categories and leads most other media segments in being in market. The Audioactive Group here at Cumulus Media and Westwood One is a full-service national audio brand advisory. We conduct a series of measurement studies for our customers, including brand lift, sales effects, search and site attribution, as well as creative pre-testing. Each and every week, we publish a new audio case study and insight. You can find it on our blog at cumulusmedia.com or westwood1.com. And when you're there, you can sign up to get our weekly audio case study sent directly to your email box. Thanks so much for the opportunity to share with you the significant magnitude of listening to AM/FM radio among General Motors drivers. Thanks so much.